Hi, my name is Jos Smolders, and this is Thursday Afternoon Talks, a series of weekly discussions I have with Frans de Waard about an album, an artist, a label, a genre, or another something musical. This time we have a conversation with Wouter Jaspers. Wouter is a prolific improviser and performer using electronic gadgets and irregular circuitry. Wouter moved from my hometown, Tilburg in the Netherlands, to Berlin in 2009 to start Koma Elektronik together with Christian Zollner. Koma Elektronik produced modular devices, at first pedals and later Eurorack modules. Wouter left Koma Elektronik a few years ago to focus more on personal growth and performances. This is part 2 of the interview where we discuss the future plans of Wouter Jaspers.
So we just heard air control, air traffic control,
Air control.
air control. you've did a lot of work with other people. Can you tell us a bit about there's a long form relationships you have with people and some more one-off collaborations. Tell us first about the last ones, the short ones. Why are they short, or if there's a reason for it or not? Or you say it was, we bump into each other, we do something, and then it's time to move on.
Oh, I think most of my collaborations that I do are pretty long term.
Okay.
So I play with you since 2010.
Yes.
Exactly, as Danitov, which is a lot of fun. We don't do a lot of records, but when we do, it's usually a little diamond.
Yes.
I play with Stefan the Turk as Preliminary Saturation. Also, I guess even earlier. So it's like 2006, 2007.
Mm-hmm.
Toured with him a lot. We did a lot of live shows and also some more records. Latest one on Muson Editions from Japan. And we also have a very nice record on Moving Furniture Records.
Yeah.
And then there's my collaboration with Stefan Gutsch, also known as Heinbach, which is a lot of fun, where like he mostly does all the melodic work because he's so good at it. And like my job is to do electroacoustic crooning, as he calls it. So it's a little bit of singing. It's a little bit of like electroacoustic objects. It's about a little bit field recordings, but it's all these projects are very like based on atmosphere, on it's all improvised in the end.
That's a common the common theme. What's the differences you think?
That's interesting. Yeah, okay. So when I play with you, I feel that we are both very strong in our compositional decisions on the spot, and we have a good feeling for where we both are going. So we can take the audience really by the hand, and we leave a lot of space in our sound. When I play with Stefan, it's more dense and more. It has more of an industrial character to it. I think we both are more like driving and pushing the sound instead of as much the searching as we do together. When I play with Heinbach as old narrative, it's really like it's really storytelling. It's like it's crafted stories, and it has a Hörspiel, like a radio play kind of character to it, I'd say.
All right, and
but all of them are like improvised, and they're like atmospheric projects. I'd say that's the common denominator.
There's also you before we were recording with Jos, you told me we were talking about Tom Smith.
Yes,
you worked with him. He was even older than I am. We sometimes play together, and then you say to the audience, "Well, this is a very old guy I work with," and then. But he always says, there's a guy, and he's even older, Tom Smith. Tell us about Tom Smith and your work with him. Because the song you played, and I hope Jos will cut it in later on, it's a different kind of thing than the whole atmospheric thing you do with Heinbach or me or with Stefan.
Yes. I met Tom, I guess, around 2009. And we hit it off immediately. We had the same kind of humor. Tom was a really like sweet and humorful, very open, like warm man, big man, and he's I think so. What we did together was mostly like lo-fi pop music. We generally called it. Tom had this thing. It's like he's been shouting it. Shouting it, telling people always. He had one, when it came to music, he had one life motto. It was genre is obsolete. There is no, anything goes in musical practice. He didn't look down on any genre or at any musical expression. He would soak all these things up and create this really super diverse output. With his work to live and shave in LA, but he was also a person that would meet people, collaborate at all times, add in what he could add in to the mix. He had this big personality with like very sweet, wonderful character. It was really nice to work with him. He passed away last year.
Yeah.
I still miss him.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Pretty much every single
And
day.
the track that we're going to play, tell us a little bit how it came to life.
This one's called Tracking Gels.
Yeah.
It was just Tom and I. We were always kind of making things on the fly. Always everything kind of came together very organically. And this one, we were sitting in his rehearsal space in Hanover, where he lived. I think the last 12, 13 years together with Claudia. And I was always we wanted to do this lo-fi pop music. It's always been the goal. So I would make something really quick. And I think this one I made like 45 minutes. I just like able to live. I was just had some instruments. I was just adding stuff, arranging it on the fly. And while I was doing that, Tom was just sitting somewhere on an amp. You call it orating, I guess.
Orating?
Like when he had a very performative character, so he would just sit there and just like chat and tell these stories, and in the meantime he would write things down and we would laugh, and I would say, "Oh, this is so ridiculous, Tom, we can't do this, it just sounds like so corny," and he's like, "Wouter, it's perfect." So we wrote Tracking Gels like that. That was like, it's a one-taker. If you listen very carefully, you even hear me give him the cue, or like, "Yeah, I think you should start singing now," and then he kind of starts singing, and it's all one take. It's just it's barely mixed. It's definitely not mastered.
Yeah, I must have heard the track before, but when you played it just now, I was thinking, oh, his voice sounds really like David Bowie.
Yeah, he was a huge David Bowie fan. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, shall we listen to it then for a minute?
Yes. Tracking Gels.
Tracking gels, just since edition. They're dry and hardened, like cum on a drunkard's calf, like cum in the eyes of expectant mothers, cum in the hair of impatient others. Tracking gels. Rub one out for a loved one. Rub one into the French. Rub one out for the self-appointed. Rub one into the phantom foreskin and breathe. Breathe. And breathe. And breathe. Vanity, pink strands of vanity, black sands of Santa Viega, vinyl saddles of the meatpacking district, hedgerows where the foxes missed it. Tracking gels. Tracking gels. gels, just sent sedition. They dry and harden like cum on a drunkard's cow, like cum in the eyes of expectant mothers, cum in the hair of impatient others, tracking gels. So rub one out for loved one, rub one into the French, rub one out for the self-appointed, rub one into my phantom foreskin and breathe, breathe, and breathe, breathe. Vanity, pink strands of vanity, black sands of Santa Viega, vinyl saddles of the meat-packing district, hedgerows where fairies, foxes, mystics, tracking gels, tracking gels, tracking gels.
All right, so we are here in your workspace. If I look around, this is really truly a workspace. In the corner, I see a bunch of antennae. What are these doing? Can you tell us about it?
Yes.
These are your current. I'm going to talk about your current. Do you call them inventions?
I guess, well, it's just contraptions.
Or contraptions?
No, I know what I call them, really. It's just they're for me, like, I don't fetishize. I mean, if you look behind me, you see a lot of musical gear.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I don't fetishize musical gear at all. I don't treat it well. So to me, it's like it's a means to an end. You know. That's also my so. If I want to do something, I need a tool to do it. I make the tool, or I find a way that I can do it. Right.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do a symphony piece for 32 radio frequencies. So how do I get radio frequencies? I have to build a bunch of antennas. I wanted to the piece in the end turned out to be called Antenna Field. So a field of antennas. Where I got received all those different signals from pretty much the whole radio spectrum. So I would get normal FM radio, AM radio. I would hear the taxi drivers around us. I would hear the airport frequencies. I would get like a spy satellite feeds in. The whole range.
So how does it work? You have all of these things set up. They all pick up signals, different signals,
different signals,
and you mix them.
And I get them all on my board. I mix them, and some of the signals I use raw, which can be anything really. And other signals I demodulate, and I then also digitally morph into new melodies and structures.
Okay.
So for this, I had to build all the antennas, all the receiving equipment. I had to, and then I had to work on the algorithms to kind of get these sounds that I was looking after, and then kind of add the compositional aspect to it all.
Yeah.
So I performed it last year, close to my home here in Berlin, in what's it called? Floating University. It's and that was actually really handy, because to make the piece, I needed the radio frequency, so I couldn't have the show too far away from where I composed the piece, because I would get different frequencies. Anywhere you go, the frequencies will change. So. Yeah. I spent weeks with all the antennas pretty much hanging out of my windows of my apartment to make sure that I would get like signals that were very similar to there. And in the end, it worked out well. But before the show, anytime I will play this piece, I will need a few days to prepare really the flow of signals. What can I use? What can I not use? And it's a really interesting way.
You have more reception at night or not?
No, it really depends. Like certain things, yes, but also not all channels broadcast at every hour. So you kind of want to go the night before, have everything set up, and make sure that you kind of at the time of your performance But it will always change, and there's
It's not only site specific, but also time specific.
Yeah, but I was thinking
and weather specific too.
Yeah,
of
exactly.
course.
Too, yeah.
Because I was thinking about John Cage. He did I think Imaginary Landscape 4, where he had 6 radios and 12 players with dialing the volume and dialing the dial to. But it was performed. The premiere was late at night, and there was no active. It was of course in the 50s, so there was no active radio stations, and the audience was static.
Yeah.
Coming out, and if you log into the web SDR from the University of Twente, it also says the best thing is to do this at evening, not at night, but at evening, because there's more radioactivity going on than during the day, apparently.
Definitely. Well, it depends on. So if you yeah, of course. But if you also take in all the CB radios, the ambulances, the airport, like there's, you have to also figure out which things work in the piece and how to use it. But there's so much radio out there. Like if you stick out your antenna, you will.
There's probably more in the airwaves than in the time of John Cage.
There's a lot of data codes. There's a lot of really like digital signals. Definitely it's a good tip for people that are interested in diving into making music with radio to really check out the SDR station of the University of Twente.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's online.
Yeah. We should add
put up a link in the description.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To make, I want to make this small step from your radio antennas and John Cage to something that's up there.
Oh yeah.
Can you pick it up? Because I can't reach it from here.
So back in the 60s, John Cage did a performance together with Duchamp.
And this is interesting, Jos.
Reunion,
and you know the picture where you see
where they are playing chess.
You're playing chess, right?
Right.
And I was saying about that. When I was 18, 19 years old, I read books about Cage, and I saw this picture of one side of the table was Marcel Duchamp and his wife, who was apparently a better chess player, and the other side is John Cage, who always lost to Duchamp, and they were playing chess. It's like this board,
right?
There
are holes in the board.
But did you ever realize, Jos, what this is all about?
No, I didn't. I thought they were just prolific chess players, but.
Oh, but you never realized what this piece was about. I was always thinking, okay, so these are holes. Wouter will explain. But I was thinking, these are holes, and by moving the pieces on the chessboard, the sound will change. So effectively, it's like a sort of synthesizer. And the chance operations are the way you move your knight and your tower and whatever you have.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it will be static sound here because this is connected, and then you move your horse to here, and it will make another sound.
Right.
This is not true. Wouter can explain it better.
So it's the musical chessboard. It has input. I don't know if the viewers can see, but you see there's like jacks.
Oh yeah, there's a circuit board beneath it.
And there's a circuit board beneath it. And I remade the original design by Lowell Cross, who made it for John Cage, and he also made the music during the actual performance, together with David Tudor.
Right.
And I forgot the last person.
Gordon Mooma and David Behrman.
Gordon Mooma, yeah.
And David Behrman. There were three sound operators.
Yeah. So in the end, this is actually just a mixing interface. So you add a bunch of signals, and you add 16 channels in and 8 channels out, and it will just mix.
It's a matrix mixer, actually.
Yeah, exactly. But then specifically for the game of chess. So
Of course. Yeah.
when the pieces are in the starting position, the sounds are off, and the moment you start moving, the sounds will start morphing with each other. So this is a
Right.
prototype I made. I made the board. It's a huge board
Right.
with all the
wow.
with all the parts on it, and I'm gonna make later in the year like a couple of these, but with a nicer design than this. This is
Okay. But
merely
you also
prototype.
have pieces specifically made for this board, of course.
Well,
with jacks on the bottom, or
no. This is it works with light dependency.
oh, okay.
So the moment that the holes are covered,
Right.
I
understand.
The function changes. So
Yeah.
you can use it with normal pieces, but I have actually developed a few pieces or a different set of pieces you can use with it that will actually give it more of a synthesizer function. So this board is pretty much a copy of the original, but what I would add is then pieces you can use to make it more into a synthesized mixing surface environment. Yeah.
But yeah,
But that will-
okay.
that will come
very
later in the-
interesting. I mean, but we, I guess we will come back and ask you more about it, because there's a million questions coming up in my head.
Once we know yours how to move the chess pieces, we can come back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, start right on the board for the first move.
Je crois que c'est plutôt tes jambes. Qu'est-ce que sont ces choses qui poussent à...
We're ready, yeah. Are you ready?
You see these balls?
We're ready.
Ah oui?
You can move when you choose now.
Huh?
You can move when you choose.
All right. Okay.
That's a very nice sound.
Lots of
So,
possibilities.
Definitely.
Yeah.
This
So
will,
the
Very
last
interesting.
thing you can talk about is your involvement with Sonoscopia in Portugal.
yeah,
Because some of the stuff here is not going to stay here.
exactly, yes.
Yeah.
Um,
What is Sonoscopia?
Sonoscopia is an association in Porto. They host. They have a venue. It's a group of artists, pretty much that make sound installations, do sound work, and have a building in Porto where they have a venue, a very nice bar, a library, and a residency program. So there's places where international artists can stay and work on music, on their own music, and develop new pieces, meet new people, or perform the things they made in town. And they really felt that they had one thing lacking in their space, which was a studio. I've been coming more. I've been coming more and more to Portugal in the last years. I really like to stay there. And at some point, the question came up: Wouter, can you help with getting
Building
the
the
studio
studio.
set up?
Oh, yeah.
And so that's what I'm doing with Sonoscopia at the moment, and that's why all this stuff is here, because I received a lot of donations from a lot of different people with really cool equipment, as you can see maybe behind me, some Brûle and Kier and some other interesting pieces. And the studio we're going to set up there is mostly focused on early experimental studios, like, for instance, the studio in Den Bosch in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
So it will be mostly test equipment and early experimental techniques a la Stockhausen. And we would like to build that out into a place where people in the future can come, they can visit, and they can really experience all these different types of synth techniques. And
Wow, interesting.
yeah, it's very exciting also. It's nice.
And you will be the tech guy over there,
Well, it's
doing the maintenance, soldering the.
I think it's
stuff.
all going to be a group effort in the end. It's,
Okay.
It's of course
Well,
with an old
Very
with an old
interesting,
studio.
yeah.
With an old studio comes a lot of maintenance. So
Yeah,
it's,
absolutely. Yeah.
we'll have to figure out how all of that goes. But also Stefan Heinbach gives me, of course, a lot of advice and he gave us a bunch of his old stuff. I think this machine here comes from one of his videos.
Oh, yeah.
I think he called it the saddest drone machine. So we should maybe try that one out later.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm really excited to work with them and to create a space where everybody can work and make more beautiful music. Yeah.
Yeah, and allow other people to make beautiful music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That has definitely been a big part of my life the past 15 years is making things so other people can make things. Yeah. Which is a really, really rewarding. It's a rewarding place to be. Yeah.
Yeah. Super. So Sonoscopia is something that you will work on the future. Are there any musical projects? I mean, Frans is with you at the moment. You will do some recordings, I guess. I mean, Frans is never anywhere.
Never not recording.
Not recording or without plans for recordings.
I don't go there somewhere for no reason, no.
No, because
we played a concert yesterday. At Annekom Space. Tomorrow we'll play at a place called West Germany. Not the country, but a club. And I will play solo. And in the meantime, we do some recordings. And unlike all of the other times that we recorded something that never materialized in any way, we hope to finish something by the time I leave on Monday morning.
Ah, wow. Finish even. Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be hard.
That's ambitious.
Well, let's hope that all these years of experience
finally
pays off.
Yeah, who knows?
Yes, so we'll more as Danitov releases hopefully in the future. Great. Besides that, I'm working on a bunch of interesting new projects. I'm like this with why I chose this project with the chessboard is I'm really interested in chants in music and also creating environments for composition that are not necessarily driven by the brain, but also driven by the environment.
Right.
And I've been developing a bunch of different interfaces for that, the chessboard being one of them.
Yeah.
So I'm just continuing to do so.
Yeah. Wow. Exploring. Yeah. And not only making music, but also designing things to make music with.
Always, yeah, totally.
Great.
Comes together, and it's always to me, it's always good to really understand the technique behind it. To really be able to also push it to the max.
Yeah, I understand.
Yes.
With this, I would like to thank you, Wouter.
Wouter. Wouter.
Anyway, thank you for this this nice conversation. It was really interesting. We got a look into your past developments and into the future developments. It remains quite interesting, and I'm really looking forward to the chessboard development. So let's, in conclusion, play another track. Which one do you propose?
I think we should go for the for one of the works that I made with Frans de Waard as Danitov. We did only one album, like we said before. It's a diamond, so I would say we go for the title track of "We Bring Light" by Danitov.
Okay, thank you.
We bring light.
We bring light. They bring light. Okay, thanks
you. Thanks for having me.
And have a nice weekend, two of you, and
thanks.
Good
Likewise.
Performances. Okay,
thanks.
Bye. listen to Thursday Afternoon Talks through Spotify and Apple Podcasts.